Hello and welcome to the daily newscast within the United Countries special by First Ukraine. You can find us at the frequencies available at our website firstua.com. I'm Sergey Velichanskiy and thank you for joining us. As the press center of the anti-terroristic operation reports that yesterday the combatants shell-fired primarily in the Donetsk area. Mortars, grenade launchers, anti-tank missile systems have been used. Pisky, Opytne and Granitne settlements have been fired upon at night. Avdiivka settlement and Butovka coal mine have been targeted by tanks. An oil power station in Shasta settlement of Lugansk region has been damaged. The terrorists fire over in the Azov Sea shore area as well.
In Shirokino, terrorists used cannons of 122mm caliber with shells equipped with panels. Getting the adequate response, terrorists asked for 6 times the ceasefire during the day and evening to take their killed and wounded people, but they always violated it.
The Russian terroristic forces have tried to break the defense near Krymsky settlement, where 29th checkpoint is located. Near Novotoshkivka village, the combatants tried to cross the forest. The Ukrainian forces have stopped them with fire. All of this was shared on his Facebook page by Dmitro Timchuk, the coordinator of the informational resistance group. According to him, the terrorists are trying to break through on tanks and under cover of mortars fire. Russia has sent 26th so-called humanitarian convoy to Donbass. It has entered Ukraine through the border, which is unloyal to Ukraine. This time, Moscow has sent 100 trucks. The Russian mass media informs that there is food, construction materials, and school literature in the vehicles. At the same time, Vladimir Stepanov, the deputy head of Russian emergency service, shares of his plans to send 2 more convoys in May. Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs stated many times that the convoy gets into Ukraine illegally. Another explosion in Odessa took place at night. This time it was the utility water supply well on Alexeyevsky Square. It was a homemade device. No casualties have been reported. Police opened criminal proceedings under article of intentional damage to property. Anti-Corruptional Bureau will have a right to punish for lies in declarations. The government has asked the parliament to broaden the authority of the Bureau. The bill is submitted. According to it, the Anti-Corruptional Bureau will have rights to do its own investigations of government officials who did not provide truthful information in their income declarations, and they will be obligated to report if they use other assets which are registered under their relatives.
Now, there is a criminal responsibility exists for submission of false data. Anti-Corruption Bureau will have full powers to provide the investigation of any state officials who gave the false data in their declarations. This is the standard scheme which the property is registered on son, in-law, brother, or other relatives. But in fact, the owner of the assets is some official. After the adoption of the law, all officials must mention that property do they have and all the assets on which they have a right in case if this property is not registered on them personally.
Victoria Nuland, the Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs at the United States Department of State, is coming to Ukraine. The meeting with her is announced on the website of the Verkhovna Rada head Vladimir Groisman. Nuland will spend 2 days in Kyiv, reports Interfax Ukraina. The main theme for meetings with Ukrainian leadership would be the fulfillment of Minsk peace agreements. More about it in our following news reports. Today is the second day of meetings and negotiations. The President of Ukraine, Petro Poroshenko, holds meetings in a German city, Aachen, with Donald Tusk, the head of European Council. This was reported by the President's spokesman, Sviatoslav Tsigolka. Yesterday, Petro Poroshenko had meetings with German Chancellor Angela Merkel. The Donbass situation and Minsk peace agreement were the primary themes of negotiations. Devils, a crook and improvised gallows. Automaidan activists have organized a sketch show at the Verkhovna Rada, demanding Cabinet of Ministers to resign, as well as transparency in the price development of gas, heat and utilities. The following story tells you how it was.
We have overflow box order for those candidates who wimp out our motherland best. So here is our candidate. Awarding of officials whose name is Senya is the final moment of the performance, which was organized under the walls of Ukrainian parliament by street theater. Actors appear on the stage, which was installed by Automaidan activists. We want to find out everything within the resignation of Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine, which had made total mess. The head of the government, Arsenij Yatsenyuk, is accused by protesters in increasing of tariffs and non-transparent information of pricing on utilities services. The task of this action is to create the Interdepartments Commission by Presidential Administration, I think, together with representatives of civil society, together with us and experts who could in fact to provide the audit of tariffs. I paid previous year for whole house 400 hryvnias per month. This month it is 1,400 hryvnias. MP Alexander Kish had come to protesters to protect the head of his party. Those who developed these tariffs should be resignated. Cabinet of Ministers and Yatsenyuk personally have no any relation to them. In favor for separate institution which formed tariffs was a speech of Prime Minister. We had developed a new law together with the European Energy Community, the task of which is to create the independent professional institution for setting of prices and tariffs. How the working group acts in the parliament, we check the prices for the gas and heating. They are trying to find out whether they are really too high. Press service had not given our channel any information yet. Dinner tariff action is going to be repeated tomorrow. Rohori Pirlik, Victoria Zabiyan, First Ukraine.
Today is a big day in the history of a Ukrainian football club, Dnipro. They fight for the right to play in the finals of European League. No time in the previous history when this club had made it so far, and now this is a second match with Italian Napoli, which takes place on the Kyiv Olympic Stadium. The first game ended with 1-1 score, so this night is very important not only for the club, but for Ukraine in general, given the situation in the country. It was the United Country newscast by First Ukraine. You can find more details at our website, firstua.com. Sergey Velichanskiy was working for you in the studio. We wish you only good news. Take care and goodbye.